That was Kellen. He sure enough would have run me over. Kellen's kind of out of it, but he still drives. A lot of assholes love this lane. That one asshole. No, you just have a hard time believing that somebody's fan belt just slipped right off like that. Spending all my time pleasing you. All you ever give me is me. Why do I think this is a guard plant? I don't know, video games and horror movies have got me thinking that if I see a potted plant by the street, its tendrils will grab me up and like a killer piranha plant or a strangling vine or something. I got a warped sense of thinking. Everywhere you go, man, there's just a lot of assholes on the street today for this hour. I mean, if I could find a pair of night vision goggles that didn't look like they came out of Tom Clancy's Nightmares, I'd be walking at nights. Yeah, it looks like they're ready to start rocking and rolling. Another gaudy McMansion. It's kind of funny. I started out house hunting in May. Here it is, damn near October, and the market's finally starting to cool off. Like I said, I'm just going to wait until they raise interest rates. By the time they do that, I'll have a really, really gigantic down payment. And I won't have to be paying interest on a house that long anyway. I figure I'll wait another 10 years. Get like an insane amount of money stored up, like have 100 grand stored up. And then every month, or not every month, but every 2 weeks, give them $1,000. First plop down the 100 grand, or I guess you just got to put down 20%. Put down the 20% and then take that leftover and start making these humongous payments. Like every 3 months, just dump down 10 grand. Boom. Okay. Some people are just starving for attention, man. Marsh? You want some attention, Marsh? Marsh? I think I can take off my sunglasses now. Oh. Jackass in the mountain. Sometimes it's best not to ask. I think I inadvertently started something. That's right, it was me. Let me pump up my ego. I'm a trendsetter. No, I don't. Some guy looking for his dog, I'm guessing. Oh! Maybe not. Ooh! Punt. Yeah, come on. Move those fat bones. They haven't knocked down my house yet. It's coming. Yeah, I wanted it, and then the lady said, "Oh no, it's got foundation problems." I was like, "Okay, I can take a hint. You're just not the right fit for this neighborhood." Like what? College educated, had a job for over 7 years, in the middle class income bracket, just barely. How am I not the right fit? Oh, you mean the color thing? Yeah, no, I get it. Say no more. It's like maybe you'd like to move down south with all the other outsider Americans. No, I get it. Yeah, cool. It's cool. In your mind, you're hurt, but you stupidly say out of reflex. It's cool. Nah, it's not a color thing. It's a wallet thing. If you still got cash in your wallet, chances are you're not going to be moving into this area. These are folks who are strictly credit card. I'm almost there, but every once in a while I have to get into a situation where I need to pay cash. I get insulted when people don't have it. It's like, you don't have a credit card? You don't accept credit cards? You just look at them like they're some kind of alien from outer space. But everyone accepts credit cards. That might be how the United States of America just finally goes. It's like, look, everybody's on credit. Someone is finally defined as being rich when there's an excess of credit in their accounts. Like every American's born in the red. Like, why would you say every American's born in the red? Well, You make the babies when they're first born pay their charge them their hospital fees. It's like, oh, the parents aren't charged, the kid's charged. So every kid in America starts out $10,000 in debt. It costs a lot to bring you into this world. Plus you're a preemie, so that's going to be $50,000 in debt. And then depending on how much debt you want to incur by the time you graduate from high school, you can decide what private school you want to go to. So all of a sudden you come out, you're an adult, you're about $1 million in debt. Look, you were $750,000 in debt when you got out of high school, but you wanted to go to college. And the worst case scenario was $250,000 for your 4-year ride, maybe more than that. You might be $1 million to $1.5 million in debt. And then you spend the rest of your life trying to pay off your debt. It's like, why would you buy anything? The government would allot you a certain amount of credit every month. When you reach a certain red flag and your red paint and your red tape, excuse me, in the red balance, like if you got $5 million in debt, you're considered in poverty level. So you have to start working menial government jobs and side jobs. In other words, they force you to take jobs just to keep your debt level down. Rich people would be somebody who was in the black and they can afford to give their credits away when they die. You see, that's like an idiotic system. It's like that's the system we have now. They don't say it, but every person in this country is already born into debt. It's just a matter of who assumes that debt, but technically, when you're a kid, you're born. Yes, your parents are the one who have to pay off the debt, but you caused it, so it goes on to you. So that's the difference between being rich and poor, is that their net worth is in the black. Everyone else, the net worth is probably at zero or in the red. If you went to public school, you owe somebody money. If you went to private school, chances are your parents already paid off that debt. In fact, every public service you use, you're in debt. You're indebted to the government, but you're still in debt. Anyway, it's just kind of a weird deal. It's all pointless. All I'm saying is it's all pointless about this whole debt and owing people things and blah, blah, blah. Because at the end of the day, we're talking about time. You owe somebody this much time. And whether you give them this time is up to you. In the case of like organized crime, you don't give them the time, they take your life, which is a stupid deal that they do, because a dead man can't pay off his debt. So well, we got to send a message. It's like, yes, and the message is we lend money to idiots and then we have to kill them later. Not really a message. More of a sad story to others. Don't lend money. A lot of assholes out here today, man. Anyway, like I said, I still have a hard time grasping the concept of money. I'm not saying that from a Star Trek point of view. That might have tainted me a little bit. But I'm saying that really as a gamer point of view, because in games, there's a certain point where you're beating up on the enemy, and your character gets so strong, and yeah, you keep making money, but it's it's kind of a waste of time. I mean, I'd play RPGs and I'd level a guy up, and then I'd have like 1,000,000 gold points in my purse. I already had the strongest armor. You can get an any lodging for free because you saved somebody who happened to own an inn. You knew spells and stuff, or you had a near infinite amount of supplies. And so there's a certain point in every video game where the money system becomes useless. You know, I look at money the same way I look at games that used to have scores on it. I was like, the score doesn't really help me pass the game. It's just something nice to brag about. Well, I got 1,000,000 points in this game. Well, who cares? That might have mattered back in the days of Donkey Kong, but in this modern world, we know your story has an ending. I know I'm going to die someday, and no amount of money in the world is going to stop that from happening. So that's why I'm saying I don't quite understand the concept of money. Money's not going to spare me from death. So while I'm here, I'm just going to walk around, look at some trees, check out the weather. Money allows me to buy fresh food, but it's really hard to starve in this country. The reason I say it's hard to starve is you can bug other people, or you can bug other people who are digging trash cans and pretty much eke out a pretty meager life. There's always that one asshole. Yeah, money. Like I said, all I can really say about money is there was a time when I didn't have any. I had all the time in the world and I had no money. Now I have money and I buy things and I don't have time to enjoy them. So it's a catch-22. That's why I'm not really thrilled when people say, "Oh my God, you got this degree. You could be out there in Silicon Valley making $100,000 a year." Yep. And you know what they want for that money? They want your life. What do you mean you're not working 60 hours a week, 70 hours a week on that spaghetti code? Amazon just had an article saying that they were happy that they work people to death. We're a company of overachievers, and we're proud of that fact. And I'm trying to think if the people that worked at IBM had that same mentality. I'm pretty sure that the IBM crowd worked 40 hours a week. They ruled the world just being able to work 40 hours a week. What it tells me, if you're willing to work 60 hours a week and give your time, and have your pager on all the time and be ready 24/7, it means that you're not using your time efficiently. So what Amazon's really saying is we waste a lot of people's time. And that's not really something to be proud of. You can't get it done in 40 hours or less, then you're not doing something right. And that's what Amazon's basically saying. Our guys work 68 hours a week. I was like, that means our guys waste their time. So Bezos ought to be ashamed of himself. He ought to be saying to himself, oh my God, why are my guys working so much? We were supposed to make this to where people work less. Amazon is a waste of time. But I guess those who use it already knew that. I mean, that's why I find myself working over 40 hours a week sometimes. Somebody wasted time. Somebody did something that was inefficient. I wouldn't want to buy anything from a company that made by a company where the people work 60 hours a week. Because I guarantee you somebody was falling asleep on the job or didn't have their best mind or focus going. Suddenly you're buying a product that somebody who was possibly tired was building. If their guys are working 60 hours a week, that means that the people they choose, that means that the people that Amazon chooses to vend the products for, they made the decision on a lack of sleep or rest, which would explain why the quality of their products have gone downhill. He's like, why are you saying these bad? He's like, yeah, I'm saying bad things, and I have an Amazon account. I'm speaking as a customer. They're getting all this cheap stuff from Eastern Europe and China that wears out in like 6 months. The bottom line is Amazon at first did some things pretty well. They suffer from what all big companies suffer from. They started out okay at first, and now they're going to be suffering from bloat. Too big, too understaffed, too many mistakes. I'd say Walmart has nothing to worry about, but Walmart also was suffering from bloat as well. IBM suffered from bloat. Microsoft suffers from bloat. In fact, Microsoft's a great case study. Only somebody who was working too many hours would have came up with the idea, hey, we can preload Windows 10 on people's machines without their permission. And not consider that, oh yeah, people are probably going to be putting this on mobile devices. And having the automatic download is going to eat up their bandwidth. I'm not burning any bridges. I don't plan on working at Microsoft, and I don't plan on working at Amazon, so I ain't worried about it. There's no way they would hire me anyway. I'd be coming in there, they say, this guy works from 8 to 5, or 9 to 5, or bottom line, he's working 8-hour shifts. They'd just be looking at me like I'm some kind of weirdo. I'd be there for 3 months, maybe even less than that, and then they say, well, he didn't work out because he worked 40 hours a week. Well, how was his work? Oh, spectacular, but he worked 40 hours a week. Like I said, if I can't get it done in 40 hours, I'm not doing something right. If the company can't get it done in 40 hours, then they need to throw more people at it. Actually, that's the only part of it. They either need to throw more people at it, decide whether to throw more people at it, divide the task even further, or change their time projections. I mean, how smart can Amazon be? They keep trying to push Fire, the Kindle, and I think they had a failed cell phone even. The only reason I use Amazon is because it's one of the easiest ways for me to shop online. I don't even care that they try to deliver the stuff in one day. I don't really need some of the stuff in one day. I'm like, yeah, you know what? I can wait. I go to Amazon because this area fails me. This area that has brick and mortar stores fails me every time. And I don't know if it's because the people in my neighborhood are kind of like, I don't know, they're just sorry. The things that make sense, they don't ever stock, which means that the people who live in this area buy stuff that don't make sense. So doesn't make sense. It's plural. Anyway, I'm trying to find sponge on a stick. I'm thinking, oh, I'll find this in any pharmacy store, Walgreens, Walmart. Nobody has it. I go on Amazon, they probably got like 50 different flavors of sponge on a stick. I'm looking for peanut butter in giant gallon tubs because I'm trying to get it in bulk. I go to Sam's, I'm thinking, okay, Sam's buys everything in bulk. Peanut butter is the one thing that Sam's doesn't sell in bulk. Why? You'll have to ask the idiot who's in charge of Sam's. I can get a big bag of basmati rice. I can get a big bag of sugar. I can get giant gallon jugs. I can get giant gallon jugs of syrup. Corn, you know, that swill that people try to pass off as pancake syrup, which is just a corn syrup with maple flavoring in it. But still, I can get it. But for some reason, some jackass said, hey, we don't want to sell bulk peanut butter. They sell giant slabs of meat for like $100. Cases of wine for over $100. But giant peanut butter, we can't do that. So I find myself going on Amazon. Good news! They have giant tubs of peanut butter. Oh, but it's organic, overpriced hippie crap. I'm like, well, what happened to variety? This is Amazon. Our guys work 60 hours a week. We didn't. We don't always stock the right things on the shelves. But still, progress in the fact that they had, with the big brand store, with the brick and mortar stores did not have. I may not always want to get a Belkin hub, a Belkin USB hub, but I can't seem to find a regular USB hub in any of the stores that I go to sometimes. as a person with money, I find myself on the horns of a dilemma. Okay, like here's what I'm looking for right now. When I was a kid, I went camping. They used to sell these army mess kits. They weren't even army mess kits. Coleman would sell the kits too, and what it was is it was made out of stamped tin or stamped steel. And the cool thing was it had the knife, fork, and the spoon all integrated with a rivet, and then you could put that inside of your pan, and the pan doubled as a pot and a dish that you can eat out of. And you can put all of this together in one kit. You can put all of it together in one kit and screw it down, and then you can put it on your belt. I go to the local Walmart down here, and I'm thinking I should find that no problem in the camping section. I look over in the camping section, they got this stupid thing called the hobo tool that was designed by a moron. Because the dang thing, you're trying to cut something and it folds on you. It doesn't even lock in place with a sharp blade, and you wind up cutting yourself. You're eating with a fork, and all of a sudden the fork collapses on you. It's just a poorly designed tool. I can buy dining sets that were made for camping. I can buy the stupid hobo tool, but I can't buy the Coleman camp mess kit. The mess kit hasn't really changed that much since World War II. Why? Because it works. It's good. But I guarantee you, if I go on Amazon tonight, which I probably will do that anyway, if I go on Amazon tonight, I'm going to find that old mess kit and have it shipped to me with about 2 or 3 days. And that's why I said I don't want to hear people talk about I only buy local stuff because I'm trying to support the local stores. I'm like, the local stores never have what I need. They never have what I want. I can understand not having a couple of things, but it seems like everything that I'm asking for, they don't have. How does that even happen? I remember around Christmas when I was getting this GoPro, I had an idea for a camera mount, and so I went and I was trying to buy a money clip. I went to TJ Maxx, I went to Marshall's, I went to Target's, I went to Walmart. I went everywhere I could to try to find money clips. Nobody had them. They said, well, it's really more of a seasonal thing, so we don't really carry that in stock. So I couldn't buy any money clips. I went on Amazon and it was an embarrassment of how many different ways I could get money clips. I was just like, but the best ones I could find that I get shipped as an add-on item were some Philadelphia Phillies money clips. I said, well, I'm not a Phillies fan, I just need the clip. I got the clip and I looked and there's the Phillies logo, and I just chipped that. It was held on with glue, so I just popped that off. And lo and behold, I had something that was going to be the makings of a belt clip. You can do this, and I did it, and that's when my first videos looked really crappy compared to the ones that look somewhat crappy now. With my first mount, I took some outdoor grade double-sided tape. I need to buy that too. Some outdoor weather grade double-sided tape. And I taped it to the back of my my weatherproof case. And the cool thing was that money clip was strong, the bond to this case was strong, and that thing would have held till doomsday. So some asshole didn't have this thing tied down in his truck. He was hauling it down, going too fast, caught some wind, and it splattered all over the road. A lot of assholes out here, man. A lot of assholes. Yeah, it worked pretty well. It was just, the only problem was it shook like crazy because I have a very flabby belly. And so it was just jittered all over the place. So I was thinking maybe I can get a chest harness and put my clip up on that. And I looked online, and the chest harness was just as bad as anything I could have come up with. These are guys who are pretty skinny. Yeah, whoever this asshole was, man, they splattered their thing all over the road. You know, I'm being too nice here. I could just walk away and let everybody get nails in their tires. Now, I wish there was a sticker on this and it identifies who bought it. And they could charge them for, you know, having their thing not properly tied down and blowed up in the road. Whatever it was a, like I said, it looks like something made out of wood covered with cloth. And somebody must have lost so much. Lost it when they turned this corner. And then the rest of the debris got dragged all the way down the street there. Bottom line, it was somebody who was ignorant of the concept of inertia in physics. Summary, it was somebody who was ignorant. Or maybe they knew better and they were just being lazy. Like that right there. They got the refrigerator sitting way in the back of the thing. They got the strap tied down lower than the center of mass over there. Bottom line, they're just hauling too much stuff in that truck. And the stuff they're hauling right now isn't tied down properly. I'm thinking about a line from Star Trek. When the walls fell. That was a pretty neat episode. The Darmok race. Although it is kind of a funny thing in Star Trek. It's like every... It has been almost 15 years since there was another Star Trek series on TV. People try to blame it on Rick Berman, but the reality of the situation was, it's like when Apple lost Steve Jobs. When you lose the guy, your creative mind, or the drive behind your behind the company, you can blame the guys that came. You can blame the guys that came after all you want, but the reality of the situation was there was only one guy with brains to begin with. And it's kind of how it worked with Roddenberry. Roddenberry passed away, and anything he wrote on a napkin, they tried to flesh out into a series. And people talk bad about Rick Berman, but he kept the series going for almost 2 decades. Do I think there will ever be another Star Trek series in my lifetime? No. The reason I say no to another Star Trek is because the entire series was powered on hope. Hope for the future. That was their energy source. Not dilithium crystals and antimatter, but hope. And unfortunately, I'm not going to bag on Obama like everyone else does, but after 8 years of him marking the hope, people are kind of burned out on it. If there's a negative thing I have to say about Obama, he made hope gimmicky. Now it just sounds like another stupid thing that people buy on infomercials. Hey, do you guys want hope? No, man, that stuff's a joke. That dude in the White House sells it on late night infomercials and ads and fills my email inbox with it. Would you like to buy another supply of hope? Hell no. The stuff I'm working didn't work last time. The stuff I bought didn't work last time. Uh-huh. Glad you could see me, jackass. I mean, he was about to dart straight out there. We wouldn't even bother to look to see if anything was coming from the other direction. I mean, people think that using their brakes around here is a sin. And they seem to forget with their so-called Judeo-Christian upbringings, murder is a sin. You kill somebody because you didn't brake your car, that's murder. Thou shalt not murder. People say, I thought the Bible said kill. Nope. That's wrong. And the idiots who preach that stuff are stupid. You know, it's just one of those things where the original Hebrew translation is murder. You can kill all you want. If you get any kind of glee out of it, then it's murder. And that's a no-no. if your target is unrelentless in wanting to destroy, maim, or kill you, then in self-defense you have no choice but to terminate that target. I guess the nice thing I'm trying to say is sometimes killing is necessary. But you see, I say that, oops, no, it's never necessary. And I was like, okay, absolutist. If anybody ever says the term, it's never all right to do blank, that's an absolutist and that's a fool. It's never all right to do blank. That's what stupid people say. Because there are exceptions to just about everything. If they say it's mostly not all right to do this, then you're probably dealing with somebody with some intelligence. But only fools, idiots, and just blinded absolutists say it's never all right to do blank. If I ever hear anybody say it's never all right to do blank, I stop that conversation right then and there and I say, okay, you have a nice day. Because I'm in the presence of a fool and there's no point in talking anymore. Why did I get so passionate about that? Because the conversation is being taken over by people who just try to take points of conversation off the table. It's like I was thinking when I was a kid, they had the mother who made the vegetable soup, and her kids came around and kept telling her, "Mama, I love your vegetable soup, but I wish you wouldn't put this in there. I wish you wouldn't put that in it." And so just because everyone else's taste buds get offended, what you're left with to eat that'll satisfy everybody is a bowl of hot water. And that's what I hate, is that conversation now has become a bowl of hot water. Ooh, I want some tomatoes. Well, I don't like tomatoes. I want some carrots. Ew, I hate carrots. I don't want corn in my soup. What do you want? I don't like potatoes. I can't have potatoes. And it's kind of funny because even food has gotten like that now, where I can't eat this, I can't eat that, I don't eat this, I don't have anything with the face on it, blah, 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 blah. So if you're trying to satisfy everybody, you can just give them a paper. You can give them a piece of paper with a with a communion wafer in it. I'm tired of living in a world that gives me soup, or it gives me a bowl of hot water and tries to tell me it's soup. And I'm realizing that it's a luxury to be able to censor what other people are saying. It's a luxury to turn down certain types of food. And sometimes the problem with luxuries is they make a person bland. And I have this fear of becoming an even more bland person. So when I hear absolutists say it's never all right to do this, it's never all right to do that, then you don't do anything. For fear that you might run into the it's never all right to do that exception. Oh, we've thrown an error. It's never all right to do that error. Sometimes I have to catch myself from saying, it's like, all right, sometimes you can do this thing, but very rarely. was just thinking about South Park. Had me kind of laughing. They had a running gag in one of the episodes. He said, "There's a time and a place for those things, and it's called college." That is kind of an irony, is that when a kid's going to school, high school, college, anything, they are shielded and protected from the realities. They have a safety net where it's, okay, I screwed up, but fortunately I'm in school where it's not going to count against me too long or forever or anything like that. But you got some folks, like I said, the absolutists, who want to take away that safety net. I did a lot of dumb things when I was a kid. I do a lot of dumb things now, but excuse me, I do very few dumb things now, but I did a lot when I was a kid. And I'm almost lucky to be born into the time period I was born into. Had I been born in this time period, I'd be a combination of things. I'd be dead, I'd have a criminal record, I'd be on several medications, and I'd be in a ton of debt with no way to pay it off. You know, they would have, when I was a kid, they would diagnose me as ADD hyperactivity. But the real truth of the matter is, I was just a highly intelligent child and I got bored. When I got bored, I wanted to do other things, but basically, it's like you're constantly waiting for everybody else to catch up. I've kind of learned how to manage that these days, but it's still kind of frustrating. Sometimes I feel like the world's going in slow motion. And then other times I feel like I'm the one in slow motion. I kind of laugh at how I always tell people, friends, and they laugh at me. They say, no one will ever do that, man. That doesn't make any sense. And then 10, 15 years later, the thing I was telling them about comes to pass. There are two things that I tried to warn people about 2, 3 years ago. Self-driving cars and a la carte cable subscription plans. And I got told by the people in my class, that's not really realistic. I don't think any company would ever do that. And so, you know, that is the first girl I've seen this summer. I know you can't see what I'm seeing on this camera here, but the bottom line is they got a drive-through liquor store over there. And they used to have girls, they had a lot of girls over there. And they'd wear skimpy and tight outfits. And they'd go get beer for guys. And of course, the guys always asked for the beer. Guys always ask for the beer on the lowest shelf and the farthest back corner. No, those are where the coldest ones are, trust me. think I lost it when they turned on, know what was going on. They buy the beer, give her a little tip, giggle like schoolboys, and then drive on their way. Sometimes open up a beer before they get home. And then the puritanical and the feminists kind of get in there and they said, oh, you can't be doing that. That demeans women. So for a while it stopped. Huh. Okay. For a while it stopped. And I'm just kind of looking, they're kind of bold today. I'm like, the bottom line is these things only stop when someone enforces them. And as anybody sees who will see yesterday's driving video will confer, there isn't a lot of enforcement going on around here these days. How can you? You can't be everywhere. So with so many handcuffs and so many officers at one time. Y'all may say to yourself, well, you seem to catch it all the time. I was like, I do, but nobody's going to give me a badge and a gun. That's a good idea. Let's just say that I have a problem. I might have a slight problem respecting human life, so you give me a badge and a gun and I'll be a little trigger happy. Seriously though, I just couldn't get a badge and a gun because I'm too morally ambiguous on a lot of things. I don't believe that the law is some rigid structure that people have to adhere to at all times. I have to examine the intent of a law. That's why I'm a big fan of a review of judicial and constitutional rules and laws. You know, the laws are designed to stop or prevent a certain behavior. And if people are defying the law, people are doing that behavior to defy the law, then the law has to be reviewed. So like, look, we did this to try to tell people, look, we had a rule in place. This is why the rule is in place. This is why everybody follows it. But if it gets to the point where people just, all they see is the law and not the reason behind the law, then it's time for a rewrite. The law is not meant to entrap men, but to guide them. I don't know, maybe someone said that already, but that's the truth. You know, when the framers or the founding fathers, whoever you want to call them, when they wrote the Constitution, they were writing a template. One of the founding fathers and framers was saying that, well, you know, like, I guess TJ wrote the Declaration of Independence. I don't know how much input he had into the Constitution. But the bottom line is what he was trying to say was, you're going to need to review this document every generation, because it's going to change everything. Every generation is going to have a different set of things that they hold dear. We went from noble things like abolishing slavery and protecting our sovereignty and disposing of the monarchy, to really stupid things right now like gay marriage, really stupid things like gay marriage and abortion and laws. Those are distractions. The reason I say there's distractions is because all marriages should be treated as a contractual thing. Therefore, it's a business arrangement. So it doesn't matter who can enter into these things. Abortion, that all got decided for two reasons: Roe v. Wade and the morning after pill. What I'm not understanding is, I'm like, wait a minute. So if she doesn't want to have the baby, can't she just take the pill and that just flushes it all out? So the people who are actually getting abortions nowadays have legitimate reasons. Birth defect, wellness of the mother, or cases of rape. So all the things that they were arguing about, that's probably the only reason that people are getting abortions now anyway. Well, I must be wrong about that. I gotta do some research into how Plan B works. As far as I can tell, anybody can get it, right? I don't think you need a prescription for it. I don't know, the thing that I always thought was dumb about the abortion folks, or the anti-abortion folks, or whatever they call themselves, well, like I said, they fight so fervently for a clump of cells in somebody's body, but they don't fight at all for the folks that are already here. The kids that are already here, they languish in orphanages and foster homes, getting abused and neglected, and then having their funding cut. Meanwhile, you're kicking up a fuss. You're kicking up a fuss for a clump of cells. Everybody wants to cite the potential of what the child's going to be. He could be a doctor, he could be the next athlete, he could be the next blah blah blah. You're right, but growing up in a foster care system, he'll probably be the next Hitler. So congratulations on that. You're right, he could be the next Ted Bundy. He could be a lot of things. But what he is today is a clump of cells. A clump of cells being born to an unfit or unprepared mother. Now it's just like suddenly it's raining. Thing is, it ain't gonna stay like this. This doesn't feel like a big storm. I could be wrong though. I'm looking up north, and it feels like it's coming from down south. But yeah, I'm trying to figure out why I saw the girls today. I hadn't seen them all summer. Maybe it's so the weather was getting nicer. That's the thing that trips me out, man, is I was just thinking in the feminist. Nah, you know, don't bother stopping, jackass. Motherfucker. Like I said, when I come out here and I do my rock, I lose faith in humanity. I come out here to relax a little bit and just enjoy the nature and the scenery and get the exercise in. And I find myself constantly worrying, am I going to get seriously injured or killed? So yeah, it puts me a bit on the edge. I'm like, I can see the stop sign clear as day. Stop, left, right, left. Intersection clear, go. It's so simple that anybody can write the algorithm for cars, and cars are obeying it every day. Or excuse me, automated cars are obeying it every day. And that was the problem they're having with the Google cars. It's like, the car knows how to do this. The car's been programmed by us. Obeying laws written by us. And it can't drive on actual roads. Because the jackass is like what you just saw back there. He doesn't care there's a stop sign there. All he sees is there's nobody coming right away, and I think I'm fast enough to make it to that intersection. I don't understand the principles of physics. I don't understand stopping distance. I don't understand frames of inertia and that somebody could be coming faster than I think. But you don't have to understand all that stuff. You just have to know that your ass sees that stop sign, that bright red, written in simple English stop sign. Your ass stops. You look both ways. Then you go. Why is that so hard? Because it ain't convenient to stop. I hate doing that. I want to keep going. I got a fast engine. Wait a minute, that sounds like whining to me. I'm taking away your driver's license. We only give these to people who don't whine. You can't obey the rules of the road, you don't need to be out here. I wish it was that simple. I wish it was like, yeah, no need to give you keys because, you know, we're going to have thumbprints. And then your car's tied into the DMV system, and if we find out you don't have a license or you've had a lot of traffic violations, your car ain't going to start. But we don't do that. And that's the part where you start hating the ACLU. You're right, it does limit somebody's freedom when the government has that kind of overreach. But you know what it also does? It saves lives. once again, he wasn't about to stop. I don't know if that's ozone or not. Every time it gets ready to rain, I can smell this wax smell. I don't know what that is. But first the air gets hot and humid. Then there are a few cool breezes that come. And then there's the smell of paraffin wax. That's how I know things are really going to happen. So people at home got to see me lose my cool today. Basically, they got to see me getting mad because I see the two people who are extremes. Two sides of the same coin. Absolutists and folks who don't think the rules apply to them. Folks who are ignorant of the rules or they just don't care or apathetic to the rules. So what is the absolutists and apathetics?